like doing chazanis and singing, but I'll just try to use my voice so you can hear me. Going to the Ayel is, for us now, it's going to Yechidus. So our neshama connects with the Rebbe's neshama, and it's our Yechidus. So it's like we're preparing now to go on Yechidus. So I think back to my childhood when I'm sure other people in my very young age group also had memories of going to Yechidus. We used to go every year on my father's birthday, and I remember so clearly we would put on our Shabbos clothes, we would sit outside in the entrance hallway of 770, waiting to be called in, and my cousins would come to try to keep us entertained. We were little kids and we didn't have that much, we couldn't sit for that long. I remember one time my cousin came and gave us all gum, which growing up in Worcester, Massachusetts, kosher gum was not a thing we had very often. We were all so excited to have our gum, and I was chewing my hair and chewing the gum. Next thing you know, I had a big glob of gum stuck in my hair. And I remember my mother running around in the Rebbe's office looking for scissors to cut my hair off from my gum. But we would then we finally go into the Yechidus. The Rebbe would speak to us children first, on our level. I remember he asked my little brother how many strings are in his tzitzis, and he answered properly. He asked my little sister, what rub do you make on an apple? And she answered. And then he asked me, I must have been about 7, I just started learning Chumash, and the Rebbe asked me, what are you learning? And you know how little kids, like they know till pasuk from pasuk Aleph till Yutes or till Dodos, keep going. So I said, I'm learning Chumash. And I start saying the Chumash I know. And my father said, that's enough. And I'm like, I didn't finish yet. And I remember going, and the Rebbe had patience. He was happy to hear me go till whatever pasuk it was I went, and that was my. I remember that as it wasn't my first Yechidus, I'm sure I was there when I was younger, the first Yechidus that I actually remember. After that, once private Yechidus stopped, so when we got engaged, we went as a Yechidus Klali with other Chassan and Kalas, and then before we moved to Australia, we went again as a group, people going on Shlichus, and we went again, when we'd come back to America, usually we would come either because Kislev or Shvat, that being the beginning and end of the summer in Australia. So we would come then, and we'd go into Yechidus Klali with other Arkim who had come to New York to see the Rebbe from far away. But now I live in Australia. So in a way, I'm much further away. But in a way, I feel even closer because I can come to the Ayhel, and I can have my Yechidus whenever I want. I don't have to, I'm not limited by space and time. It's great to be here at the Ayhel, but I feel like even wherever I am, I can have my own Yechidus my own way. So how do I do it living 10,000 miles away? 10,000 miles away, yes. That many miles, that's how many miles we get when we fly. We pay for our tickets to get for our next ticket. And so there are 2 ways that I personally do it. So I'll share those 2 ways that what works for me. It's not, and hopefully someone will take away something from it who also lives far. One way I have my Yechidus when I'm in Australia is from the Rebbe's picture. We know the Rebbe spoke very strongly about the importance of pictures. We know that there was a story when he received a picture of Reb Levi after he had passed away. He received one picture, and the Rebbe vetoed that picture, said, no, that's not a good picture. He received a second picture, which was meant to be published in a book somewhere. It had to go to the printer in the morning, and whoever, I forgot the details of who showed the Rebbe this picture. And he said, okay, you take it to the printer in the morning. For tonight, I need to keep it. Training, like me. And he kept the picture with him all night on his table. And apparently the Rebbe stood with this photo all night, the photo of his father. And the next morning he went to the printer to be printed in a sefer. So we know that a picture is something, is important. And I know for us in Australia, until I got the right Rebbe picture in my house, I finally have one now that I like. That I feel it connects to me. The Rebbe's pointing, and his eyes meet his eyes, it's an eye-to-eye gaze. So I feel like that picture is where I can stand and I can talk to the Rebbe, I can thank the Rebbe, I can cry to the Rebbe, I can sometimes scream to the Rebbe, and really feel like that's my way of connecting of Yechidus. The other way I have is a way that I just made up in my own head, and I do this, and it's not like it's written anywhere, but it's what I do is I just think of coming here, and I'll literally sit and I'll think that I'm going into the tent, I'll have my thing, I think that I'm walking down the path, I think of all the people I'm meeting, I think I'm passing my Zayda, passing my Baba till I get into the Ayel. And then when I'm in the oihel, I open up and I talk and I daven. So those are the ways that I do it from afar. As a mechanech, we are partners with the Rebbe. The Rebbe, chinuch, what was more precious to the Rebbe than the chinuch of children? I mean, the last few days I've been seeing all these clips about chinuch going through. I'm sure you've seen them as well. How the Rebbe put so much emphasis on teachers and on mechanechim, how precious they are to him, to Hashem, the hugely important task that we do in preparing the next generation. And we have to always remember that while we're teaching, while we're being mechanech, that we are the Rebbe's partners. We have to make sure that whatever we do, the partner would be happy with what we do. How we go about what we're doing, how we're teaching the children. Are we prepared ourselves enough? Do we learn Klali the Rebbe's guidelines for mechanechim, the Rebbe's guidelines for how we can inspire and teach and guide and shape the next generation. So we're going into the oihel now, so I hope that we can everyone has their own personal way of doing it. I think that the biggest bracha that we can ask for is that our chinuch that we're providing to the next generation should be accepted and have the right, that the fruit of our labor should be easily seen, that we should be able to see that all the effort and all the effort we're putting into the next generation and see the results openly. And of course the biggest result would be that the Rebbe should reveal himself. We should have Mashiach now, and then we'll be able to go on and we'll be able to say, look at these wonderful teachers who are mechanech the next generation.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Groner. Amazing, beautiful brachos. We're going to proceed into the ayal. We have a special schos this year. This is the first year that all three esteemed members of the Ba'at HaKinnis are here, leading us into the Rebbe. Mrs. Bacheva Darren is going to read the Pan, and Mrs. Tachtel and Marfani Brun are going to read in English, and then read all of your names that you and your fellow mechanchis submitted. Thank you so much for choosing the theme of the Kinnis, guiding us, encouraging us, and really being a guiding force for all mechanchis, an inspiration that we just try to follow. We have 15 minutes in the aisle, so you have time to read your own Pan. You do not have time to say the Mana Lesson. You could do that on the bus. Please board the buses